He's Byron has a great presence about him. He's a, former quarterback. So I think so much of how he sees the game is through the eyes of the quarterback and, puts himself in that position that, okay, how would I like this done if I was under center? And got a great understanding of the game, got a great work ethic, has great command and presence, and he's a great coach. So I love working with him. He's done a great job with our offense, does a great job calling the game, has a really instinctive feel for how, the flow of the game, who needs to get into the game. So it's been a real pleasure working with him. I love our time together. We talk football all day. He's kind of a gym rat like I am too. So we talk about other sports, he loves golf, basketball. So, we're not talking football, we're talking other sports. So it's pretty cool. And then the fact that, we've known each other a long time and always watched him from afar, when he was at Jacksonville, played against them. He went to the Steelers for a little bit and then got into coaching. And he's really done an amazing job in his coaching career.
We'll go over to Trent Gamble with The Independent.
Hi, Tom. It's a real honor to speak to you, man. I hope your family are well, and congratulations on making it to another Super Bowl.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Gronk was asked the other day about this, but could you put into words sort of how it feels knowing that so many New England fans are behind you, despite you guys moving to Tampa?
It's been a, obviously anytime you change teams, you don't know how it's going to go, but I think there's been incredible support that I've had from, all the, for the team I used to play for, all the New England fans. And, I still obviously have a great affection for New England. And, I said the other day, my kids were born in Boston. So, I have a lot of love for Boston and all of New England and the incredible support over the years. Again, it was an amazing 2 decades of my life. And, I'll always have a presence there. I have a lot of friends there. It's just really cool to be able to, have that experience in my life. And then again, have my football journey take me to somewhere else. And then, come down here and play for a different team, but still have incredible support. And even, all the guys I used to play with in New England, I have a lot of friends. I've heard from so many of my teammates, so many of my old coaches that, are wishing me luck. So it's been really cool.
All right, we'll go over to Teresa Walker with the Associated Press.
Tom, the Pro Football Hall of Fame announcement is going to be coming Saturday night. Peyton is kind of expected to be in that class as a first ballot. How has he helped maybe revolutionize the quarterback position in the NFL?
Well, Peyton was someone that I always just admired as a quarterback, as the leader of a team. And Peyton and I are right around the same age. He's a few years older than me, but I always looked up to Peyton because he was a little older than me and he was always doing things the right way. His team was always in it. I know our teams had a rivalry against one another, but when you went against a Peyton Manning led team, you were going against essentially the other best team in the league. And it's no real surprise that, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. An amazing player. He took so much on. I think like any great quarterback, there's a lot of responsibility that you take on. You want to make sure, everything's a reflection of how you see the game, and you want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And when everyone's seeing it through the same set of eyes, it's a great way to play football. And, working with the coaching staff, because ultimately you're the player on the field, there's no perfect play that can always be called for every, defense and the quarterback. They have to, the coaches have to trust the quarterback to get it right. And I think a guy like Peyton, the coaches, when I think of Coach Moore and Coach Clyde that were here working with Peyton, Coach Dungy, they had so much trust in Peyton to get things right. And he always did. So then he went on to Denver, had a great career there. And, I had a chance to know him for, a long time, 20 plus years. And nothing surprises me about him and his accomplishments. He's a tremendous player. We always keep in touch. He's always wishing me well wishes and so forth. And, really happy for him.
We're going to go over to Anthony Curti from ESPN Brazil.
Hi, Tom. Congratulations on being your 10th Super Bowl. Just
Thank
a
you.
quick question. Most of the people just see the rings and Phil can see how mentally strong you have to be so you can achieve the greater status you have. Is there any turning moment in your career, like when a superhero gets his powers, that you saw something clicking and you thought, no, I'm a different person, perhaps the final drive of Super Bowl 36, I don't know. And a quick follow-up, could you say hi to your many, many fans in Brazil? I don't know how many Portuguese words you know and can say, but they will be so happy.
My Portuguese, let me say this. My son, who's 10, his Portuguese is amazing. My 8-year-old daughter is fluent in Portuguese, and unfortunately, their dad is way behind in his understanding of how to speak the language. But I can usually understand a lot of things. My wife will say "Papai no sabe nada," which means Daddy doesn't know anything. I usually get that a lot in the house. So, I know when they're speaking Portuguese, kind of what they're saying, even if they're, taking shots at their dad. So they're very, sometimes when I do use my Portuguese words, my daughter will be like, Daddy, you spoke Portuguese, which is pretty great. So she's very fluent. And then as far as, I think my, I would say becoming an NFL player and then transitioning to a starter and then someone who was, kind of a QB1. I think that happened over a period of time. And I started in college. I went to a big college. There was a lot of expectation at that big college, and got to the pros and wanted to be a consistent, dependable player. And I think every year just tried to improve my game a little bit, and gonna have to keep improving it. And as long as I'm playing, I want to improve and get better. And I think next year is going to be a lot better than this year. I feel like I'll be in a much better place mentally. I'm going to train a lot better this year. Physically, next year I'll be in a better place. So I know as soon as this game ends, we're on the next season. So, we'll get ready for this season and then start thinking about next year.
We're going to go over to Kim Jones from the NFL Network.
Hi, Tom. When I think you and Jason Pierre-Paul first became teammates, he told me you said something to him like, now you don't have to chase me around anymore. I just wonder, as a human and a football teammate, if you ever look at what he's done, particularly with his compromised right hand, and kind of marvel at what that must have taken for him to do all of that.
I've obviously played against JPP quite a bit, and absolutely love getting the chance to know him and be his teammate. He's absolutely everything you look for in a competitor and a teammate. His leadership, not only his play style in the game, but how he practices, his work ethic. He's a relentless guy. He's a relentless competitor, and he's got incredible mental toughness. And he's just, when you look over that defense and you see him out there, everyone loves seeing JPP out there making plays, because when he's making plays, the whole defense is making plays. And Shaq and Dominican's making plays. Vita, then you got Levante, you got Devin making plays, guys in the secondary making plays. So, but JPP's absolutely like a ringleader of that group. He's just, when he's going, everyone's going, and he brings a lot of juice. So we love seeing him out there. I love playing with the guy, and love getting to know him. He's an amazing guy, amazing player.
Thank you.
We're going to go to Charlie Clifford.
Tom, congrats on a great run, man.
Thank you.
Back on the Peyton thing, if you were asked to give a short story about him, let's say at his induction, what would that be? And also, with the rivalry with Eli, can you differentiate the rivalry with Peyton? Does one rank higher than the other?
Yeah, well, obviously the Colts were in the division. I played against them, Peyton a lot. It seemed like they were in our division. They were when I first started in the league, and then they moved to the South, out of the East into the South when Houston came into the league. But and then Eli playing in the NFC East. We didn't get to play those guys. We played them every preseason, so we had a lot of great games. Unfortunately, didn't always do our best against that team. Played always a little bit better against the Colts than the Giants. But both. It's really amazing what Peyton and Eli did in the NFL, and Archie, to have three pro quarterbacks who were as tremendous players, leaders, high achievers that they were. Says a lot about their family. So I always just had great respect for all of them. They were great competitors, great leaders, and happy Peyton's got another amazing accomplishment in his career. And respect Peyton for being the number one overall pick, really living up to the standard of a number one pick on and off the field. And he always seemed to do things the right way. And he would, there was always a story that when I first played them, it was my first start. I went over out early and I went up to Peyton and I had never really talked to him. And I said, "Hey, Peyton, I'm Tom Brady here." I think I walked over. He says, "Hey, what's up, Tom?" And that kind of, blew me away that he knew who I was, which was pretty cool. And again, been friends ever since.
We're going to go over to Karen Loftus from WFLA.
Hey, Tom, I want to go back to talking about Byron real quick. He may be the epitome of toughness when you talk about his time in Marshall. If you remember his one leg game where he finishes the game with a broken leg and his offensive linemen are carrying him down the field.
Yeah.
What does that do to set the tone for this team, knowing that you have an OC that is such a warrior? And do you think that some of the younger guys have even seen this video?
If they haven't, they need to. And Byron, I talked about that day, and it happened. He went, left the stadium and got x-rays, drove back to the stadium, went back in the game and finished it and balled out, and I think it's really an example of who he is, because he's a great competitor, wants to be out there for his team, and was going to give it everything that he has. And it's the same way that he coaches. He gives everything he's got. So again, just a great leader. We love playing for him. He's high expectations for us. He just has a great demeanor. Nothing ever, in the end, really gets under his skin. He's got great poise, and he's just got an amazing sense of poise under duress. And it's a great attribute to have for a coach. And he's got a lot of great years ahead as a coach, and I'm sure he'll be a head coach very soon.
Our last one's going to come from Tom Rock at Newsday.
Tom, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about how you were able to forge such a close relationship with AB in such a short amount of time. And also, if it reminds you of any other relationships that you've had in this league. I'm thinking maybe Randy Moss, who was sort of had some bumps along his career, and then found you and was able to get to his best.
Yeah, and I think my relationship with every player, whether it was Randy and AB, it just starts with I don't have any predisposed notions of how things will go or how they should go. I just try to get to know everybody. I try to, in my own way, be a positive influence in their life. They're a positive influence in my life. Randy and I connected right away. Antonio and I connected right away. And he has a great love for the game, is a real perfectionist about how he plays, how he takes care of himself. Incredible football IQ. And then again, a great skill set just as a player. And I think made incredible strides over the last 12 months to get from where he was at to where he's at now. And I think that's one of the, again, for me as an older player, I think the impact that I want to have as I continue to move forward is help other people maximize their potential. And I feel like, I'm obviously on the much closer to the end than the beginning. I have the ability to help people through my own experiences to help them be the best they could be. And I think that's the enjoyable part, because it's one thing to go out and throw passes, and that's fun. And I love that. And I love winning and all that. But, we all have lives. We all have, everybody is dealing with life, which, is not always the easiest thing for all of us. So, you just try to provide some words of support or advice or, again, care for people. I think that's a really important thing that we need to do, that all of us need to do. We need to care for people more and allow people to blossom and be the best they could be, because they can trust you and that you believe in them and you want to ultimately see them succeed. And I think that's a great part about sports. It's a great part about life and investing time in people and seeing people grow. I mean, that's one of the great things about being a professional athlete, certainly an older professional athlete, that is surrounded by a lot of younger players who I want to see them succeed.
That's all we have time for today. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.